Yeah.
Hi, Madhuri.
Hello. Hi. Welcome to the Goa School.
Thank,
Thank you for doing this talk, Jyotsna.
thank you so much. It's always so exciting to be here on the Goa School.
I know you've been an awesome mentor for us before, and so many people recall everything that you've been saying. And I thought we would absolutely be doing an injustice if we didn't make a proper recording of a high-level talk with you. So thank you so much for doing this. So the topic of today's talk is going to be sustainable living. Now, it's a really broad topic. So what I'm going to try and do is put forth my understanding of it, and then you're the expert, so you then can tell us whether that is correct or not. So the way I understand it is that the earth is absolutely heaving with the burden of so many humans that are on it and that are using all its resources, polluting it, etc. So, given all of that, I assume a definition of sustainable living would be something like, um, you know, taking what you need from the earth to live, but then putting back, and also not putting back what you've used, and also not destroying anything that you do take. So you use it in a way that can go back in a cycle and continue to nourish the earth. So I don't know if that's too simplistic, but I know there's a lot of aspects to this. There's like water, there's like plastics, do recycle, clothing, all of that. I mean, there's every little bit of it for your lifestyle that one can talk about, and we'll perhaps go through some of those today. But what do you think about the overall sort of definition? Does that work?
Yes, absolutely. It can be as simple or difficult as we make it. You see, I mean, I grew up on a farm in Punjab where the concept of sustainability and community is deeply ingrained within people, right? When we go to a village, also, mostly they are sustainable, they live sustainably, they live much more simply than we do. So, my great
Mm.
grandmother, for example, she came from the royal family of Naba, but she only owned three salwar kameezes. If anybody gave her anything else, she used to give it away. When she passed
Yes.
away, she literally had only one shelf of things in her cupboard and nothing else.
Mm.
Just imagine if we could all live
Yeah.
like that.
Yes, I mean that's fantastic. It's an excellent lesson. So you've talked now about how much we collect, how much stuff we all have, and this new sort of consumerist society. So this consumerism and all of this, I mean, is it not linked to development? And is there not that, like, there is strong argument that says that if you're telling us to live sustainably, but we haven't caught up on the development cycle. So we as sort of developing countries, so it's almost unfair to ask us to do that. What would you say to that?
So it's the argument I have with my teenage boys every day. When we were growing up, there was no, I mean, I think there was thumbs up and stuff, right? In those glass bottles. But it wasn't available everywhere. Now, whether you go
Right.
from mountain to metro to beach to the most remote place, what are you going to get? A packet of chips and a, a
True,
Coke,
probably.
Coke bottle, right?
Mhm.
Everywhere. There will be no SOS medicines available. There'll be no sanitary pads available. But these things will
Correct.
definitely be there. So, what are we
Yeah.
catching up to? I think we're catching up to the wrong things, right? Where
Yeah.
are, see, what do we want in life? Do we want, it's fast consumerism, right? So, everyone wants
Mhm.
to eat now McDonald's and KFC. Why? Look at the Indians, Golgappas and Papri Chaat. Actually, McDonald's didn't do so well when it came to India. Are we allowed to mention brand names? But what McDonald's did, they changed, right? For the
Yeah.
first time in India, they introduced this aloo tikki burgers and chicken tikka burgers and things like that. That was something they had never done. Not in any
Mm.
market that they had gone to. They had never ever done it. So now, after that, they realized what happens when you do something like this. Now, in I think, Japan, they have teriyaki burgers and so on. But they started
Mm.
that in India because they realized India has just strong legacy of our own fast food, which is not as fast as the fast food of the consumerism, sort of all this pre-packaged powdered. A lot of the French fries that we eat, when you go out or if you buy it in a packet, it's not even potato. It's all powdered, reconstituted, right? So
But
every
people at McDonald's have done it more to sort of get into the market. And you have a point there to say that, look, they were trying to make it local because, that's our own traditions are like that. However, in terms of just the packaging they use or just the amount of energy that goes into producing one burger that has then no nutrition, whether or not it's a makalu, whatever they call it, a burger or not. I mean, the point is that when you're living sustainably, you've got to actually take a stand and um, say no to certain things. Now, let me give you an example. I sometimes purchase things from Amazon, right? And I will be very careful about the product and look at, whether the product is sustainable, how it was produced, and all of that, and we feel very happy with myself. But then when it comes to my door, it's coming in that same packaging that everyone is against. So then I'm like, then I will have to say no to all of these products, even though they're sustainably done, because the delivery chain is something that is not, sustainable. And it comes to me in thermocol or it comes to me in cardboard. That is also, there's so much cardboard, plastic, etc.
I've got something which I had right here to show you. I'm just going to get it back and show you the kind of sustainable packaging that can be used.
I think today, yes.
Now, the thing is, now, for example, this is a jute bag. Okay. Can I see those other bags? We have the Lucknow Farmers Market bag and a jute bag. This is a jute bag, which in our village, the girls are making these sanitary napkins. And now obviously they can't be sold without packaging. These are also reusable. These are made, by the way, by the Digital Empowerment Foundation. We'll put all the links on the top. So these are fully reusable. Look at it. It's a lovely soft cotton fabric. It has a liner. The liner is so soft. I've kept a whole lot of products here to show you.
Oh, nice.
I've actually used them myself because you can't give something to anybody else if you don't use it. So you get so many things, allergies and itching and all that. This is amazing, this product. And it's nicely sustainably packed. Then there's lots of sustainable packaging like jute. You can have it printed with your own. This is a jute folder, of course, but just like this, we have jute bags. There are cloth bags. And I'm going to show you an amazing packaging fiber. Anjali, she's getting me that brown packaging. So I kept some things around me to show you guys. I mean, these are things that I use every day. So, for example, this is a bag made out of bamboo. But packaging, there's two.
So, use that vis-a-vis, something that's less biodegradable. But look, my thing is really that, as a citizen, I mean, if I were to start a business and I said, okay, I'm going to use, say, this bad thing, and I'm going to make it completely sustainable. But then at the end of the day, if I were to use something like an Amazon or another big distributor, then I'm stuck. Like, for example, if I was running a kitchen, then your Zomatos and your Swiggies are not particularly sustainable in their packaging. Everything comes in plastic. And then, in a way, as a citizen, you have to kind of say, I will lose out on that option and not do it until I can sort of force people to go green in their packaging. But then that has to be like a people's movement.
Lots of green packaging options. Now, there are, all these bagasse-based. The best, of course, is the regular pattal ka dona. We keep them in our office. So if anyone wants to have a snack or eat something, or we want to serve something, this is the best thing. So if you're sending something dry to somebody, these are now available in very nice, these are less high-tech. These are the regular ones we buy.
No, I was talking more about the platform on which you distribute, a Swiggy or an Amazon. One has to influence those big apex organizations to change over, and sort of shame them into doing it. Absolutely. I can remember that there was there was a movement in Europe where people started buying fruit from a supermarket and they removed all the plastic packaging and just dumped it in the supermarket. So the supermarket was suddenly piled up with all this plastic and they made it made a statement, it made a noise, right? So that's what I'm really talking about because at the end of the day, Jyotsna,
Let's do
we
that,
can have.
Madhuri. Let's have an art installation with plastic from one supermarket. If we can get
Yeah,
one supermarket to get its customers to give us all the packaging that they bought for one day, and we do an
yeah.
installation outside.
Yeah, I don't need an installation. Now, for example, I live in Goa, where we have the Goa School. And Jyotsna, it's a beautiful spot. It's one of the most beautiful spots in the world, right? Your parents live here too. And it's blue, well, sky, blue water, sandy, all of this. But then there's a plethora of this terrible um trash everywhere, and then there's a problem of stray dogs because they get into the trash and try and get your leftovers, etc. So and then there's plenty of people who grow up here
I want to
who are
show
not
you
worried about
this is
who are
like a
not.
sustainable packaging option. So this is something like it's a replacement to bubble wrap, and these are available now.
Yeah, I've seen those.
So it
So
can
that's really excellent. So no, we're absolutely on the same page. You don't have to keep showing us different options. We know. There will be, and I'm sure everybody knows now. It's for business owners to take this on. It's for other, and it's also for citizens to say no to to products that include this sort of packaging, because at the end of the day, I heard somebody say, it's a very good quote, I hope I'm quoting it back exactly, which is that you are voting with every rupee you spend. So basically, you're voting for the type of world you want. So basically, you can talk sustainable, you can sort of espouse it, at a value level. But if you go ahead and order on Amazon, you're paying for the other kind of world, yeah, which has all this awful packaging. But packaging aside, now let's move on a little bit because I know you've been doing so many things in terms of getting together organic and natural products under the Lucknow Farmers Market sort of umbrella. Now, can you tell us how did you start this? What was the inspiration for it? And how far have you come in your journey?
Thank you. So it's because of this search for natural things for my own family that I started the
Yes.
Lucknow Farmers Market. I moved from Mumbai to Lucknow in 2010, and I have two children, were 2 and 4 at the time that I moved. Now in Mumbai, we used to have this. There was this Hari Bhari Tokri where from Bandra and all these places you could get this basket full of fresh vegetables that came from farmers around Mumbai. But I came to
Yeah.
Lucknow, and UP is supposed to be the second largest agricultural producer in India. I grew up in Punjab, where you have access to organic and natural food. And I was really surprised that I just couldn't find anything at source here. I didn't want to also
What
have
do you mean? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean by those things? Because you would get a dal or a chawal or your regular fruit,
shops.
banana.
Yes, you get it in the shops. What you buy in
Right.
the shops is full of pesticide, right? If
Right.
all the food that we eat now, what's the incidence of diseases, of cancer, of so many lifestyle diseases that they call so-called lifestyle diseases, also diabetes, hypertension? It's because of the food that we eat.
Right.
Our hair and our skin isn't as good as our grandmothers perhaps used to be. My father has thicker and
Yeah.
longer hair because he's a Sardar and he has long hair. He has thicker and longer hair than I do.
Yeah.
But I'm careful about what I eat. But what we buy in a shop, it's just not what we used to eat in the past, right? All our food used to be naturally produced. Before these so-called standards of organic food, we didn't use pesticides before the Green Revolution, right? There was neem and cow dung and all the natural techniques. But now what we're eating, it's all full of chemicals. So I wanted to find something direct from source. I wanted to buy things from farmers. And that's how
Yeah.
actually slowly I started the farmers market. I started finding 2 or 3 people, bringing them. We have an old family home which we've restored as a retail space in Hazratganj.
Yeah.
And I started bringing them because we had some stores here. I thought it would be a good place. We would start used to go to the farmers market in Bandra in Mumbai. Then we'd start something like that, just a informal, community based. I started it as an NGO first. Now, firstly, you have to pay and bring those farmers and people to you. Then I found if somebody has to pay, say, 200 rupees for a dal that they can buy for 100 rupees in the market, they're not convinced. So we would get all these things, but people wouldn't buy them. Now, this was back in 2010. Fast forward a few years when we started doing one market a year, having more awareness, getting a baker to bake for the first time. Shubhi Walia, in fact, from Lucknow, she made these amazing cake pops with, natural flour, with wheat flour, with raw sugar and things like that. Nobody was baking with natural ingredients then. Now we have, a whole plethora of bakers baking with millets and ragi and all. But you see, first it was you have to convince people. Now through COVID and all, now people are convinced, right? They know you have to eat healthy. But do we know? We may be eating very healthy. Where does our food come from?
Yeah. So it's the whole cycle, the production chain, and where it comes from, what processing it goes through before it gets to you, which one needs to be aware of.
Exactly.
A lot of these products that you do get in the market that say it's organic, what do they mean by that? And what should we be looking for? And is it okay to pay a little bit extra for that? And I mean, and then what do you do in the cases where you can't afford it? Say you're running a large family and you're just like, I can't pay extra for my food. Yeah, it takes away from my budget. So then
see, this is what we hear from people. It's too expensive. I can't afford organic. Now, when someone gets sick and you have to have hospital treatment, what do? You pay for it, right? So we have to realize our food has to be our medicine before medicine becomes our food. So
it's a mind shift change that you have to make.
Perhaps eat a little bit less, perhaps eat some things fewer, but there are some things like your day-to-day things, your oil, the oil that you eat, the oil must be organic, locally produced, cold pressed oils, because we've read, I mean, you just go to Google and you read about all the oils that you buy in the market. It's full of palm oil and it's full of some other substance, which isn't oil at all. So you're making something, oh, you're using olive oil because we're told to cook in olive oil, but there's more olive oil sold in one city of India that can be produced in the whole of Europe. When you have 1+1 of those huge cans running on discount in supermarkets, you have to wonder, how can this be pure olive oil? Can you possibly have so many olive orchards? So finding a local supplier. And
finding local supply
oil. See, and whatever is local to your area. If you're in Kerala, you eat coconut oil. In the north, we eat mustard oil and ghee. We cook in mustard oil.
Yeah, and there's so many healthy, sustainable local options that you can have. And here, for example, in Goa, they will tell you it's the first press of the coconut, etc. And then we just, it's lovely. You can smell it. It's, the joy of eating something farm fresh is actually fantastic. So, and luckily for some of us, it's still available to us. But I mean, for a lot of
cook less.
No, but but I'm just sort of going through the different things that people say about this, and just to get your reaction. Like some of the so like I remember when I started first running my own household, and we had older people from the older generation would come in and they'd look at our sugar and they'd be like, it's white. We never found white sugar in the old days, and look at how modern things are. And they finally figured out how to clean the sugar. And now, 20 years later, we're like, don't go near that white stuff because God knows what they've put in it to make it white, So we have sort of come full circle in our understanding, and it is in this generation almost that we've had to let go of a lot of the things that we thought were modern in the old days, and realize that actually they're bad for you. And so white sugar I can think of as an example. But also, for people who are running households now, I mean, if you do get two for the price of one, and you're not looking at I mean, a lot of us don't even look at like expiry dates before we buy, right? So that's another sort of very educated thing. We say things like, our families bought from like this store, for generations. They will not cheat us. And we take that, but that store started sourcing its things from all over the place now. So, what are the things that one has to really look for? I mean, one would be the expiry date to check if it's
Yes.
like sort of
Then,
GMO. And if they're saying that it's organic, I mean, what do they mean by
yes.
that?
So about
You know,
organic and about all these, large companies who are selling organic produce, and they're available at every street corner suddenly, stores selling organic things. You have to realize when we're cooking
mm,
something organic, that much area
mm,
yields just that much dal. So you will get just 2 bowls of dried dal from a certain, area of land. So if it's organic, it can't be available everywhere indiscriminately. So you find small producers close to you or known to you that you buy
mm,
from. And when you're talking about cost as somebody running a household, how do they balance the cost? But the same people will take their whole family out for a meal, right? Like when we discussed at the Goa School, should we have a home cooked meal or should we order pizza from outside? A treat once in a while is fine. That won't impact your health. But if at least 90% of the time or 80% of the time you try to eat healthy, and your main staples, if your atta, your rice, your oil, and your pulses, your vegetables, anything you eat raw, fruit and vegetables, eat seasonal and local.
mm.
The doctor may say eat an
That's
apple a day, but all the doctor means is eat a fresh seasonal fruit a day. If we eat an apple a day and the apple is coming, across the carbon footprint of across 2 continents, just think of how much wax or chemicals there must be in that apple because it was plucked 2 or 3 months ago and I'm eating it now. So in jamun season, let's eat
correct.
jamun. In mango season, let's eat mango. And
Oh, speaking of mangoes, Jyotsna, let's talk about this lovely mango festival that you have started and are running now for like over 10 years or something. I mean, tell us all about this. It's really marvelous.
so exactly the mango festival is actually how I started the farmers market. So the genesis happened because we have a mango orchard. I started going there trying to figure out, how to run the orchard. Went to the Indian Council of Agricultural Research Institute here in Lucknow, and fast forward to a year later, figured out they're not marketing mangoes. We didn't have a mango festival. So, together with the Indian Council of Agricultural Research Institute, the Central Institute of Subtropical Horticulture, and at that time there was a Bill and Melinda Gates funded project for mangoes called Sunehra Prayas that was running for the first 2 or 3 years I was here. So I got this idea of a community festival like they have all over the world for mangoes to promote
Yes.
our amazing mangoes, to promote everything, the art, the culture, everything to do with mangoes and to revive and bring back the traditions we lose. So here on the 18th and 25th of June in Lucknow, we are inviting you to the 11th
Mm.
Mango Festival organized by Lucknow Farmers Market. We take you to different orchards every year. We also list orchards on our online platform on lucknowfarmersmarket.com so that in the end, actually around the country, you should be able to visit mango orchards all around the year because in the south and in Goa, you have mangoes in December also.
Oh, it is.
We
That's
have
right.
mangoes here in June and July, and our fruit season are getting shorter and more unpredictable because of weather patterns. So let's support our farmers. Let's buy directly from our farmers. And
Mm,
let's make this
fantastic.
an
So now, but in
experience,
the mango,
Madhuri. Quickly, I wanted to say that
uh,
let's gift each other experiences. So instead of gifting those big boxes that we put somewhere, gift a loved one a visit to a farm. It's a mini summer holiday. It's amazing. Sorry, go ahead.
no, that's absolutely fabulous. That's exactly what we should do. No, so I'm curious. I'm really curious now. What are some of the sort of cultures around the around mangoes and fest? I mean, you create a festival, right? You make everyone go there, taste the mango, have a bit of a fun time, etc. But like locally, have there been things that you revived around, like
Yes,
traditions
yes.
around this?
Absolutely. So,
What?
for instance, the most famous thing of that mango
Uh,
inspired is the paisley pattern. That's called paisley all over the world, but
yeah,
it's ambi.
yeah,
It's ambi, and the
yeah, yeah.
ambi is actually gone around the world in fashion, and that's inspired art. It's inspired clothing. So what we have is a mango-inspired
Yeah.
art show happening at Lebua by an amazing, artist and the head of the at the Abdul Kalam Technical University here, Vandana Sehgal. So we have music, we have shairi linked with mango, we have everything from cooking, recipes, dishes, um, you name it. There's the culture, craft, everything. Every year, new products are launched. So we've had products like raw mango dishwash powder, to mango soaps and shower gels, to mango lassi launched by Gyan.
Yeah, I mean, all this sounds fantastic. And I believe mangoes are also a secret ingredient in some kebabs. Is that true?
Yes, they used raw mangoes to tenderize kebabs instead of papaya because they used whatever they had. Papaya didn't grow everywhere, right? So we have a whole
Yeah, yeah,
mango
yeah.
menu also for you to eat from. So
Oh,
everything's there on Lucknow Farmers Market on our Mango Festival page. And those who are not
mm.
in Lucknow can actually visit mango orchards anywhere around them, encourage the farmers, discover new recipes with mango, and share them. Share them on our pages on Instagram or Facebook, share them with each
Really.
other.
What you've done in this whole business of living sustainably, because now I'm going to zoom out for a second after this, is that you managed to get like communities of people who grow mangoes together and give them a market, give them a platform. I mean, that is just amazing. I don't think it's ever been done in the whole country, has it? Must be the
I'm
first ever.
sure in Goa, there are a lot of sustainable small initiatives. I'm sure somebody is doing it somewhere or the other. In the hills, they do. Yes, but
They do. Okay, well, one doesn't. I mean, okay. So anyway, but it's more. One should do it more and more. I'm assuming
and the thing
because
is,
see,
people all
as
come
some
together. See, you like you who's supporting the festival every year. Over 100 students from different colleges intern with us. Entrepreneurs join hands together. People just come together for the love of the festival and come back year
yeah.
after year.
Yeah, and what it does through that festival is educate people about local food, seasonal food, living sustainably, and all of this. Acha, now let me zoom out a little bit more. Now you mentioned growing up on a farm. You mentioned, your dad who. So, like, who are you? How did you like even get into this? Like, how come you didn't come to Lucknow and put on a set of pearls and just like do nothing? Like, why did you get into this?
So, one second. I've got. Yes. So basically, I come from a family who has had this concept of community and doing something
So,
for, yeah,
yeah.
service ingrained like you have, right? Within me, my parents, my grandparents, my great grandparents, we grew up four
Yeah.
generations of us, living together. And then again, my husband's family, Amar's family, his father being an IS officer, he's helped people so much. Both his grandmothers, and we spent, the first 5 6 years in Lucknow here with his amazing dadi, Begum Hamida Habibullah, the work that she had done, she planted this mango orchard. So, in a sense, we're keeping her legacy alive. So, we are just following in the footsteps of the seeds that our parents and family have sowed for us. But also, it's a
Mm.
mindset. I mean, I've studied in Delhi, I studied at St. Stephen's, I studied in London, I did my MBA, I worked in the corporate world for about 12 years. I was part of a
Right.
startup of a low cost airline. But then when we moved to Lucknow and after my children were born, I realized that, there has to be something else that we do in life which
Yeah.
gives you joy and you make a difference with.
Mm. And this business about giving you joy is really, I mean, I think they've done some research, and one of the things they do say is that, in order to be happy in life, just get outdoors, walk with the trees. I think the Japanese call it forest bathing or something, and do things with your hands and don't sit in an air conditioned room or don't even aspire to sit in an air conditioned room and at a desk because, there's some of us who will always say, Are, X has got a big job and they're sitting at a desk all day and that's like really not healthy. And they will, end up doing what? And I used to work for a short time with this gentleman who he said something to me just stuck in my mind. And basically, he said, we all come from villages and everything, and we get these jobs and we aspire to go to the city and live in air conditioned rooms and this and that. And get all these very fancy, gizmos around us and all that. And then it comes time to retire, and what do we all crave for? We crave for the same stuff that we left behind as children. So now we go and spend our money on farms and living outside the city and saying we don't like the, hubbub of the city anymore and all of this. So he says, what's the point? He doesn't even understand why we did all of that and tortured ourselves for 40 years in the work life. So if there are people who are listening out there and are wondering, I actually prefer the outdoors and I may never make that much money, but it doesn't make more sense to stay back, then why not? So what we're talking about really is about planning your life. It's about your place in life. It's about how countries develop. It's about how budgets are made, at a national level. I mean, where are they investing? Are they investing in cities, which they should, because there's a lot of migration and there's work in cities, or they're also investing back in sort of rural areas. So really this whole business of, once you make that mind shift of saying I'm going to live sustainably, you can use that as a lens to analyze everything that's happening around you. You can talk about whether or not, from the smallest thing to whether, the water you're drinking is coming from a sustainable source or not. We've talked about recycling materials. We've talked about how we get rid of garbage. Just things like, how do we clean things around us? So, I mean, I really feel that it's like this magic portal you go through. Once you get it, you're just like, oh, and then everything changes, like everything. And it's like, even if it's like furniture you're buying, you're like, am I buying like furniture is going to last 3 generations, or am I going to throw it out? And then where am I going to throw it in? What? And clothes, clothes we do all the time. We get onto something and you say, this is 200 rupees, it's a steal, buy it now. But most likely it's not going to last, and it'll end up on a landfill.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this portal business? Yeah, I mean, I wish more people got it at that level, where suddenly, they just change their point of view on everything.
So see, I think the change starts with us, because we keep waiting for somebody else to come and change, right? We're saying, why isn't the government doing this? Why isn't somebody? I've spent the last week, off and on interacting with an amazing team of people. There's Professor Chetan Singh Solanki, who's a professor at IIT Mumbai, and he's taken 11 years of his life to go on a solar yatra, because he believes that that's the way he can tell people. Because he asks everyone, do you use solar energy? Everyone says no, but we all breathe oxygen, we all eat food, everything we do requires solar energy. So we're all using solar energy. And then the question that he asks people is that, what's the change that's happened? Why is it happening? It's everyone blames somebody, blames God, blames other people. But why is it happening? It's happening because of me. And who can bring about the change again? It's me. So it comes down to, I can do this, right? This is what I'm going to do, either with myself or my circle of influence. So if each of us realize that and bring about that change, I think that's when, we are on our way. Now we're not changing the world for tomorrow's generation. We are at a crisis. Climate crisis is trending now, right? It's a climate emergency. It's trending, the hashtag, check it out, climate emergency. So the change has to be now for each one of us.
And I mean, when you were in school, people used to say, don't like litter, don't be a litter bug, switch off your lights, save the polar bears. And that sort of thing, it's become passé. It's much bigger than that now. I mean, it's save yourself, So listen, it's been really wonderful talking to you, Jyotsna. I think this has been the most fabulous conversation, in the sense that we've sort of rocketed around a few issues, and it's a very wide and deep issue, and there's certainly lots more that we can do to live a more sustainable lifestyle. But hey, this conversation's been a beautiful beginning. All the very best for your mango festival and for everything that you do with the farmers market. And I certainly do hope that a lot more people will begin to spend time outdoors, and make a sort of a big mind shift in the way that they think about the environment and themselves in it. So thank you, Jyotsna. It's been really wonderful.
Thank you so much, Madhuri. I love everything you do at the Goa School, and at least what you're doing is very valuable. Of course, everyone listening to you on your site knows what the Goa School is, but I'll tell everyone who's going to listen on our platform also that the Goa School actually connects professionals and people with time and resources. Both, see, people say daan karo. This is gyan daan. People are sharing their knowledge with people who may not have that access. So there are people who you connect, mentees and mentors. The mentees, I've met some of your mentees. They're amazing young people from all over the country. And it's a valuable service, and it's a sustainable future that you're helping to develop, helping people think about and see how they can live more fulfilling lives and reach their potential. So thank you too for what you're doing.
Not at all. I mean, this is it's what we do out of our own sense of service. And certainly, if there's anyone out there in your community who would like to join this sort of mini movement that we started off, there's no money that changes hands. We only swap knowledge and networks, and we try and reach out to people who have come from more difficult backgrounds, and they may or may not have access to the same things that you and I have. And we try and talk about modern ideas, living sustainably being one of them. So, yeah, I mean, please do join if you would like. And, our website is thegoaschool.com. And we're all available for a call if you are ever in the vicinity of Goa. Otherwise, online, just like this chat. Thank you, Jyotsna. All the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Happy Mango Festival.
Thank
Bye.
you so much. Bye-bye.